Hello, and thank you for watching this video. My name is Leslie Cornwell, and I'm the Vice President of Scholar Services here at the George Snow Scholarship Fund. The point of this video is to acquaint you with who we are as a scholarship fund, the different things that we do for our Snow Scholars, and we'll go through certain aspects of the application that students seem to have the most questions on, or those parts of the application that students have difficulty with. The applications opened on November 1st and they close on February 1st at 11:59. So let's get started in the presentation. We have been around for 39 years. We provide need-based scholarships, and don't click off, we're going to talk about that in a few minutes, to students who are planning on continuing their education. We believe that once you become a Snow Scholar, you become part of our family. We are unlike any other scholarship fund, and you will find out why. We provide support services beyond just the general scholarship dollars for your entire undergraduate education. And we hope that you're going to be one of the Snow Scholars this year. So to be eligible, you must be a high school senior. You must be attending school in Palm Beach County or Blanchie or Pompano Beach and Broward County. You must have financial need, but when I say that, we are not tied to FAFSA. We do not ask that you upload your FAFSA application or your student aid report. There is not an amount that your parents need to have as an income limit in order for you to qualify. There are no GPA minimums on the application, and test scores are not even asked for on the application. Why should you apply to this scholarship? Well, the scholarship is going to last for 4 years while you complete your undergraduate education. We're going to be there with you the entire time. You can study anything that you want to study, any major that interests you, or if right now you're undecided, that's absolutely fine. And you can attend any accredited college, university, vocational program. It can be in-state, it can be out-of-state. That's absolutely no problem. What we're known for, besides the scholarship dollars, are our support services. And you can see these listed here. We are constantly updating them. We are constantly coming up with new ways to support our students. The first question that you're going to be asked when you receive the scholarship is, would you like a brand new computer, or would you like a college supply stipend check? Now, that check is the only time that you're going to have a check written out directly to you. The amount varies, and you would be seeing specs of the computer, so you would be able to judge which option you want to choose. We have an emergency fund, so if you have a non-recurring expense that comes up while you're in school, maybe it's a dental visit, a doctor visit, car repair, whatever, then you can apply for emergency funding. We send care packages before your finals every fall. I don't want to go into too much detail about that because that is a surprise. We provide free college makeovers, free physicals and vaccinations to all of our students in the summer before summer school generally starts. The makeovers are at a salon in East Boca. It's for boys and girls. You can have whatever you want done to your hair. The physicals are a requirement with most schools that you have to provide a physical. And if you're living on campus, you generally have to have a meningitis vaccine. Even if it's not required, you should get it. It is a little bit costly, so we have an arrangement with Boca Raton Hospital that the same doctor who's been doing it for us for 20 years will do this for free, fill out your physical form, and provide you with the vaccination at no cost. We give our students college supply gift bags, which is a giant rolling duffel bag that is full of things that you can use, whether you're staying at home or whether you're moving away from home, and you'll receive that at the end of our award reception, which I will talk about later. We have a program called ComPsych that we offer to our students. So this is free mental health for you or your family members, free financial help, free legal help. So it's really a wonderful resource for you to have. We do Monday motivational messages emailed to you every Monday morning. These messages are on point with what you would be experiencing, and you will be getting these all 4 years. They're definitely relevant to different stages of things that you would be going through as a college student. When you come for your interview, you will receive a professional headshot. One will be taken. You'll actually get a hard copy, and then we'll digitally send one to you so you can print them. That can be your senior photo because those are expensive, or that can go on a resume, whatever you would like. We have a scholar closet that's new this year. So we have a whole room full of men's and women's clothes, shoes, and you can come at any time and go shopping in the closet. We have Snow Family master classes. Right now, those are virtual because of COVID, but on a variety of topics. And our Snow Family networking platform, which is also new for us. And this is all of our current and alumni on our own platform. We post jobs, we post internships, we have a mentoring program. So if you are majoring in a specific field at a school, you would be able to find upperclassmen who are in that same area, as well as alumni who graduated with that same degree who could help you along the way. So here is the date again of the applications. That is a QR code, so you could go on the QR code and it'll take you directly to the sign-in page on our application server. You can save your application at any time. It is a lengthy application. You're not going to want to complete it in one setting, so you can save it, come back to it, and work on it whenever you'd like. It is mobile friendly. You can do it on your phone or computer. Please use an email that you are checking regularly when you sign up. We are only going to be contacting you through an email, so I'm not going to text you. I'm not going to call you. You're going to get an email to let you know whether or not you've made it to the next phase, which is an interview. You're going to get an email to let you know whether or not you have received the scholarship. So please make sure you're using an email that you check regularly. Do not use the palmbeachschools.org email address. For some reason, there's just a little bit of difficulty in the emails going through. So please use a personal email. Again, you can complete this at your own pace. At the beginning, you can always select to view all steps, and that'll show you all of the different steps in the application. I don't want you freaking out because you'll look at it and say, oh my goodness, like that's a lot. But some of those steps have one question. A lot of the application is just yes, no questions. And some questions you're not even going to be answering because of the logic behind the application. Depending on how you answer this one question, you might not even be going on to the next section. So don't let that be a reason that you don't submit this application. So you're going to sign in, you're going to create your application. The beginning is just your basic information about you, and then you're going to put information about your high school and things like that. And then you're going to come to this page. And only one college is required. But if you are applying to more than one school, then you should put in those schools. It will not let you submit the application if you haven't put one college in, but that's also to help you. And I'm going to stop for a second and explain our application process. We have about 85 people in the community who will be reading and scoring your applications. Your applications are scored 5 times. The lowest score is dropped, and then the average of your 4 remaining scores is your application score. Now, to receive an interview, it's based on your application score. So you obviously want to have the highest score possible. So you want to do this application carefully and in a way so those selection committee members can see who you are as a person. They get a better picture of you. They understand your character. Do not assume they know anything about you. They don't. If you are in an academy, if you don't tell them, they don't know that. If you've received certain honors, and we're going to go through these things in the application, but I just want to make sure you understand if there were activities that you were involved in and then COVID stopped those. Don't assume that they know it stopped because of COVID. You definitely want to give the best picture of yourself to the selection committee members. And one of the ways that could hurt you is if they think that you are rushing through this. You know, if you fill this out like students text, where everything is a lowercase letter and there's not proper grammar or punctuation, you're giving off the impression that this application is not that important to you, but at the same time, you're asking for thousands of dollars. So keep that in mind. Treat this like you would a college application. Hopefully you wouldn't be sloppy and doing a college application. So we say the same thing for this. And that's why at least one of these colleges had to be required, because we have students every year who you'll see with these radio buttons where it says college application status. I will have students who will give me 3 colleges and then click not applied yet on all 3. Now, again, the selection committee members do not know anything about you, but what you've told them in this application is that you haven't applied to any colleges. I would suggest you don't use that option at all. If you haven't applied to schools, hold off on the application until you have, although you should be applying to schools by now. And I'm not going to hold you to these schools. So let's say you put in 3 schools and you decide to go to a completely different school. That's absolutely fine. It's not the school that you're putting in that matters. It's the fact that you are planning on attending some form of secondary education next year. Now, I'm going to stop for a second and explain the difference between our general scholarships and our restricted scholarships. We have general funding where donors give us money and the student doesn't have to fit any particular requirements. It's just where you land based on your scoring. And then I have donors that come in, and you will see this later on in the application, that want students who fit certain requirements, whether it's because of their major or where their parents work or where they went to elementary school. There's all sorts of different questions. One of those donors is Quantum Foundation, and they have a health profession scholarship. And their requirements are different than my main requirements. So I already explained that for the George Snow application, and it is just one application, it doesn't matter where you go to college or vocational, it doesn't matter what you're majoring in. For this separate health profession scholarship, which is one of hundreds of scholarships that we have, they have a very restrictive requirement. You have to be in a medical academy. You have to be majoring in a healthcare field. And I'm pointing this out because, as you can see at the bottom of this slide, it says anticipated major. For anyone who doesn't want to be considered for quantum, I don't care what that major is. I don't care if it says undecided, that's absolutely fine. But if you want to be considered for the health profession scholarship, then that major has to be something healthcare related. And they will only allow you to attend Florida Atlantic University, Palm Beach Atlantic University, or Palm Beach State. So if you want to be considered for the health profession scholarship, one of these schools that you are listing has to be one of those schools. Again, I'm not going to hold you to this. If you're considering going to UCF and FAU and you get into UCF and that's where you want to go, obviously you don't qualify for quantum, but you qualify for George Snow. So it's really a matter of, do you want to have one of those qualifying schools listed here so that you can be considered for both? Quantum has its own selection committee, their own interview dates. I have students every year who receive both scholarships or only one of them. Again, that is only one of hundreds of scholarships that we have, and you're not choosing the scholarships you're applying for. I only have to point this out because it does affect how you fill out the application. Now, there are 2 essays on this application. We asked students who did not submit their application last year, what were the reasons that they didn't submit? And the 2 biggest reasons, the first reason was time management. Students didn't plan well with their time. They waited to the last minute. The application is lengthy and they didn't have enough time to finish it. And the second were the essays, that there were 2 essays in this application. And my feeling is, if somebody says to you, well, you might win $10,000 or $15,000 or be awarded this so that you can go to school, but there's 2 essays that you're going to have to put into the application, I mean, to me, that's just kind of like, why wouldn't I do that, even if it takes me some time to do the application for the opportunity to possibly be awarded this much money? The first essay is on your educational and career goals. What do you think that you're going to be studying in school? What do you think you're going to be doing when you are out of school? Again, do not assume the selection committee knows anything about what you've been doing in school here. There is a 400-word minimum. There is no maximum. If you have written this essay before for a college app or something at school, copy and paste. There's no problem with that. I'm not trying to make more work for you. I will tell you, they're not looking for you to be a world-class author, but if you are sloppy in this application, it is going to affect your total application score. And by that, I mean a bunch of misspelled words. There's no reason for that. You have spell check. No punctuation, like a paragraph is just one long sentence, or improper grammar, or, you know, like you write, I want to be a nurse, and you don't capitalize the I. It's not if there's one mistake that's going to make a difference, but if they're reading the essay and it's just so many of them, that is definitely going to affect your score. And it also affects what they're thinking about you. Like, did you take your time with this? Did you have somebody else read it before you put this into your application? Now, then you're going to come to a page where it has work experience, extracurriculars, community service, and awards and honors. Depending on how you answer the question, it will then lead you on to that section. So if you answer no to these, then you're not going to be going on to another section. If you answer yes, it will take you further into that particular section. Now, none of these are required. But again, you are trying to give them the best picture of yourself. So you do want to brag about yourself as much as you can. You do want to think outside the box and put whatever you can in here. For work experience, if you click yes, it'll take you, once you've answered all these questions and you click next step, it'll bring you to the work experience page. You can list 2 internships or work experience. You know, anything that you have done. Now, school activities, if you answer yes and you go to the next page, you will be able to list up to 10 activities. You don't have to have 10. It will ask you what the activity was, the years that you did it. Did you do it freshman, sophomore, junior, senior? And the position, your role, did you have a leadership role? Were you a member? And then a very brief description. Again, if there were things that you were involved in and then COVID wiped them out, then you should explain that. You know, you did it freshman and sophomore, and then, you know, whatever. This is anything that you have been involved in the last 4 years. Now, if you answer no, it is going to prompt you with a question of why not. That's not a judgmental thing. That's actually for your protection. And the reason is, if you don't have anything in here, if you weren't involved in anything with school, I don't want the selection committee to make a rash judgment about that. There are plenty of reasons why students aren't involved. You may just not have wanted to be involved, but you also may have had other reasons why. Maybe you're responsible for taking care of a sibling as soon as school is out, or you have a job, or you don't have a car, like whatever it is. And so we just wanted you to have a chance to put that in there then. Community service, you will also have the opportunity of putting up to 10 community service things that you have done. And the same thing with awards and honors. Now, awards and honors are not strictly just awards and honors you've received in school. It's anything that you've received recognition for over the last 4 years. Any certifications, anything like that, you should definitely put in. If you've been nominated for something this year, but you haven't received it yet, definitely put that in. Again, brag about yourselves. Then you come to the second essay and reference letters. So the second essay is definitely one of those questions that are on college applications. You know, describe a special attribute, accomplishment, challenge, experience that has taught you a valuable lesson, or something in your background that will help the selection committee get to know you better. That's the whole point of this essay. They don't want you to just rewrite the first essay. They want to know more about you. You can write about whatever you want. Again, you can copy and paste it if you've answered, you know, this prompt before. Same thing as before with the rules, 400-word minimum, you have to watch your spelling, and so on. Now, reference letters. They are optional. You do not have to upload any reference letters, but if you would like to, then you can upload no more than 2. You can do this one of 2 ways. Either you can upload them yourself, which means you've asked somebody to write it, that person gives the letter back to you, and you can upload it into your application before you submit. Or if the person is not going to give you that letter, or you don't even want to ask them which option, then the second option would be, it'll say Kaleidoscope Recommender. If you choose that option, once you go to the next step, what's going to happen is there will be a page for you to add a recommender. You can add up to 2. You're going to put in the person's name, their email address, and then it has a place for a message. You could just write, please write a recommendation letter, write whatever you'd like. And then that person is going to get the recommender link. You should tell them that you have done this so that they're looking out for it, because it could go to their spam. And they then take it from there. They'll write the letter, they upload it into your application. You will not be able to see it. If you want to know if it was received, you can always contact me and I can check on the back end. Those have to be done before the application closes on February 1st. So make sure you're not giving this to somebody, the end of January to do. Now, I spoke a little bit about how we have those restricted scholarships. So here they're called eligibility questions. You can answer no to every single one of the questions, and there's a bunch more than what you're seeing on this slide. But you can answer no to every one of these questions and you are still eligible for our scholarships. These are just here to match you with a restricted scholarship that you may actually qualify for. So what we tell students is that if there's the possibility, if it's a maybe, then you should answer yes. I'm also not going to hold you to anything at this point. So if you put in that, yes, you are planning a career in the field of engineering, I will definitely be checking with students. I would never award a scholarship for one of the major restrictive scholarships, because you have to stay in that major. So this wouldn't be just awarded to somebody without there being conversations. So don't feel like you're going to be locked into this at this point. You can see there's a bunch of different questions on this slide, but they go and they're just a bunch of really kind of random questions. The only one that I do want to point out at the bottom of this slide says, are you in your school's medical academy? For that health profession scholarship that I talked about a few minutes ago, you must check yes to this question. If you do not check yes to this question, I don't even know to be looking for you, to be filtering you for that scholarship, because I don't know you're in a medical academy. So you must answer yes to that question. Okay, the last part of the application deals with financial questions. It's going to cover things that you just don't have. And this is where that time management problem comes in. If you're waiting until the last minute to tackle the financial part of the application, you're going to have a problem, because you're going to need your parents' help. I understand I will have applicants who are not with their parents. I have applicants whose parents do not file taxes. None of those are deterrents for doing this application. You can get in touch with me, and my contact information will be at the end of the presentation, and you should take a screenshot, but you can definitely call me and I will tell you how to fill out the application. So when you get to the beginning of the financial part, it's going to have a father section, a mother section, and then a step parent and guardian section if that applies. If you do not have a relationship with your father or your mother, you will have that opportunity to mark that. And then I won't be getting all of that other information that you'll see. I'm not going to need their address or where they work or what their salary is. Then it's going to ask you questions about who's dependents in your family other than yourself. Who do you have siblings? Even if they're not living at home, are your parents providing for them? Are there grandparents or relatives living in the house that your parents are providing? The reason for that is that goes to that whole financial need. Maybe your parents make more than somebody else's, but maybe your parents have these other obligations. And then you will come to parts of the financial that you're not going to know. It's going to be asking if your parents bought their home. Are they renting? What do they owe on the home? What are their assets? What are their debts? This is why they're going to need to help you with this. And then we get to a part where they are about 5 questions on an actual tax return. If they give you the tax return and you don't know where to find the answers, again, you can call our office and we will actually tell you where you need to look on the tax return to get that answer. I don't need the tax return at this point. Like I said, you're not uploading a FAFSA, you're not uploading a tax return. The only thing that's getting uploaded into this application are reference letters, if you want them to be uploaded. Nothing else. You're just going to be answering the questions. And here is the timeline. So the application opens November 1st, closes February 1st. We have interviews the whole month of April. So April 25th and 26th are our tentative dates for our main interviews. They start around 3:15 and go until about 9 o'clock. You will choose a time slot. The interviews are about 20 minutes. Hopefully they will be in our office again this year. But we also interview the entire month of April for restricted scholarships. Quantum will have its interviews probably in April as well. You will be awarded, notified of your award on May 16th by email. So again, you definitely want to be checking your email. We have a required orientation and award reception that will be in late May, early June. The award reception is really nice. You can bring 2 members of your family or 2 guests. You will have dinner. You'll sit at a table with students who are going to the same school that you are. You will meet your donor, which is the main reason for the reception, and because they want to meet you and you need to say thank you to them. There's an award reception, and at the end of that, you'll get your giant duffel bag. We have the makeovers and the physicals, and usually it is in early June, and then you're off to college, but you are never not part of our family. I have over 400 students in school. I know where everyone is. We know how they're doing. We are very, very involved with our scholars. We are never going to be just sending you off to school without any support. We support you every step of the way. I think that's extremely important because it's a big transition for you next year. And so we are with you for your whole undergraduate years. And then if you receive this undergraduate scholarship, you can apply for a $10,000 graduate school scholarship. So there's another reason. Now, I just want to talk for 1 second about the FAFSA. Again, you're not uploading this as part of our application. If you receive an interview, then that's different. There are going to be things you have to send us, and your student aid report is one of them. If you have not submitted your FAFSA, you must do so as soon as possible. Again, not for purposes of our application, but for your own sake. You will not be eligible for any federal aid or school aid without having a FAFSA on record. So you submit it, and in the application, you say the schools that you want it to go to. What I want to point out here, though, is this highlighted part of the slide where it says EFC, there's a number, and then an asterisk. So EFC stands for Estimated Family Contribution. The lower the number, the more money you qualify for. Even if your parents make a lot of money and you're not going to qualify for federal aid, you still have to do this because this is still what determines whether or not your school is going to give you money. Aside from Bright Futures, this has nothing to do with that. And now the asterisk is what I want to point out. That means that you are in verification, and a lot of students get randomly put into verification. Maybe there is a problem with the application, but more often than not, there's nothing wrong with the application. You just got put in verification. If you don't take care of it, though, your application really, your FAFSA application really hasn't been submitted. It's kind of in a holding pattern. So you have to take care of the verification, which means you actually have to read your student aid report that you can get once you have submitted your FAFSA, and then clear up the verification so that there's no issue with your financial aid. So here is the contact information. Again, I'm Leslie Cornwell, and along with Shannon Elwood, we are here at any point in time for you to reach out. You can see our office number. You can see both of our email addresses. If you have any questions, then we encourage you to reach out to us. There is no limit on the students who can receive the scholarship from a particular school. And, you know, last year we awarded 140 scholarships, 140 students. So it is not like just one or two people are going to be receiving this. I know when we do presentations in person, we'll ask people, do you think you can receive the scholarship, or do you think you have to have a high GPA to receive the scholarship? And people do believe they have to have a high GPA, and they don't think they have any chance for the scholarship, and that's not true. But you definitely have no chance of getting the scholarship if you don't apply. So we wish you the best of luck, and we hope you're going to be a Snow Scholar.